Good morning, guys. I was just going along with my day like any other, talking to my sister on the phone, putting on a little makeup, getting ready to do a video. And I got the email from Susan from the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch that she's ready when I am. And I was like, oh my gosh, the live is today because it's not my regular live time. I guess I didn't have an alarm set or anything on my phone. So I resent the link to Susan at the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. Welcome in Huga Homestead, and we'll see if she comes in. Hopefully she does. I feel really bad. Yeah, I was actually going to do a declutter video for her collaboration, and also I had down to do a recipe for today video. So just kind of moving a little bit fast today. Woke up with a little bit of a headache and a little bit of a runny nose, like my allergies are acting up. Hello, Michael's Adventures. How are you? So you're waiting to go into work today. I just had like an early lunch. I just started a healthier eating plan this year. And so I had that. Been doing like food prep and stuff like that. And it's working out so far. Hello, Ed. How are you? Cold and tired. Yeah. It actually got a little warmer today. It's supposed to be up to about 60, 61, I think. Actually, just a couple little things in the garden. MJ, busy, Michael J, Michelle J. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's funny they were asking me who this person was, and I just remembered as I was talking. I was like, oh yeah, that's Ed. Ed's new channel name. How you doing, Ed? What's going on? I think I might try to drop the link for Susan. Susan's supposed to be my guest today, but I don't know if she got the link or not. I thought I sent it to the email she said, but oh, it worked. Yeah. I was kind of starting out a little chaotic mess this morning, I guess. Here I was supposed to be on my well, I told her 11 o'clock, but I looked at the live time. I set it up for 11:45. Don't even know what I was thinking there. Then she emails me to say, ready when you are. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a live. Gracious, gracious, gracious. Yeah, she can't do evenings. So I thought, oh, I'll just go with her during the day. It'll be fine. It's one day I'll remember. Hello, Deborah's Delicious Dishes. How are you? So anyway, I'm gonna have to come up with a backup live day because it seems like there's several different channels who can't go on Tuesday evening, which is my new live day. So I may set this up to be my backup day, but I think I'm going to try to do maybe like a 2 p.m. or something and have like another live day. I think it'll might help my watch time to go up. And I know you don't have to maintain that for your monetization, but I still feel like maybe you need to keep things up quite a bit for them to keep promoting you. Hello, John, with Hunting and Stuff with J&J. How are you? Welcome to Hot Mess Central. Gail speaking. Yeah. Anyway, so it was a little bit nice today after I did the feeding the chickens this morning. I did a little bit of gardening. I told myself I would try to do just one or two little things every day. And that way when spring comes, I'll be ready. And I just got my kind of like a garden. I went through my seeds to see what I had, to see what I needed. And I really only needed 3 more seeds. I needed dill, parsley, and butternut squash. And actually, when I went to Dollar Tree the other day, they had all 3 of those seeds. So I think one of them I bought 1, and the other 2 I bought 2 of each. Hello, Yarnworks and Crafts and More with Lydia. How are you? So I officially have all the seeds I need. So not going to participate in any seed swaps or anything this year. I'm just going to go on what I have. But I've won a lot of seeds and also had some sent to me in friend mail. And then I purchased some seeds at the end of last year, right before they were going to get rid of them. And also I did one seed haul where I purchased some seeds from M.I. Gardner, which I don't normally get to do that, but I did get to do that this time. Hello, G Mama Grows. Okay, I'm trying to get that link up for you, Susan. My Chromebook's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. I'm clicking on it. Hold on for a second, guys. I'm trying to get this link up for her. Can you guys still hear me? Maybe I should just go back to bed since I'm a mess today. Okay, there we go. I know, the Chromebook's harder to put up links on than my other one was. I tried I tried another thing. Okay, so this link is for Susan. She's supposed to be the guest today. So if anybody else clicks on the link, I'm not going to pull you up because my guest today is Susan. But maybe one day I'll try to do one of those open panel things. Hello, David Corey with Crop. How are you? Who's itching to start gardening? If you are, type a 1 in the chat. And I am. I'm ready to start gardening. I didn't think I was, but everybody started talking about it, and that's what got me excited about it. In my chat, if you type the word dolphin, it'll put up your link. And if you guys would share this out on your community tab to get a few more people in here, that'd be awesome. I'm just sitting here drinking my hemp water today. This one's pineapple. My favorite is peach. My second favorite is watermelon. And then this is like my third favorite, pineapple. My least favorite is the black cherry. I just don't like the flavor of that one as much. And the regular cherry is not hugely my favorite either. Yep. Oh, there she is. I'm so sorry, Susan. I told you 11, and I put 11:45 on there, and then I was in there about my merry way when I got your email. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I just started like looking at my hair and looking at myself to see if I looked okay to go in front of the camera. And I was like, yeah, you look fine. And I just came in here and I was hoping you'd be in the basement. And then when you weren't, I was like, oh no, I'm going to make her upset with me.
No. We all have days like that, so don't worry about it a bit.
I actually woke up with just a little mild headache and a little bit of a runny nose this morning, and just a very mild background of a headache, like my sinuses were acting up or something.
This crazy weather.
Yeah, but I was actually coming in here to my kitchen, and I was going to put my tripod over on this other counter and clean out one of my cabinets, and I was going to film it for your declutter thing. So I was actually planning on doing that, and I had a cookie recipe I wanted to make. So I was planning on doing those 2 videos, And so that's why I was in there and I was putting on makeup and doing my hair, getting ready to be on camera. When I got your email, I was like, ah.
It happens. I mean, it happens to the best of us.
I know. Well, it's not my normal live time, but I did want to be flexible and go live, be able to go live with you. I know I've been up on your panel before, but I've never really got to have you up on mine. Hello, Lori from Lori's World. How are you? So yeah, I'm a hot mess today, but I'm gonna try to work with it. So one of my commitments for this year was to do that healthy eating plan, which it's pretty much the plant paradox one that Dr. Gundry does. But I'm being a little flexible on it because he's a little weird about certain vegetables, and I'm a gardener. I really need to be able to eat all the vegetables that I want. So I'm being flexible on that part, but I'm trying to follow the rest of the plan. And I've been on it before, and it does make sense. So what kind of plants do you have in your garden this year, Susan?
I haven't got any plants planted except for we've got a grapevine that I'm hoping will make it, muscadine.
Plans, like plans, plans, plans.
I'm hoping to get a garden in, let's put it that way. And I'm hoping to get it in the ground this year. We've tried the raised beds. We have very poor soil where we're at. We have sandy soil. And there's only one section of our yard that has good soil. And so I'm hoping we can get a garden in this year. I've got tons and tons of seed, and I need to get them planted.
I got a lot of seeds too.
And we've got to fence it off so the chickens will stay out, hopefully for the most part. Because they'll tear up everything that we have.
Mm-hmm. We have our yard, our backyard. We're in a small city. We're not in the country. We're in a small city, and we have our backyard split in half, and half of the yard is for the chickens. So when we let them out, we close that gate, and they can free range all on that half of the yard. The other half of the yard, which is the more sunny part of the yard, that's my gardening side. Hello, Christy Betts. How are you? So I don't have to worry about that. When we free range them, we shut the gate, and they can free range on that side. And the gate has a chicken wire on one side so they can't get through the bottom of it. And they have occasionally got over, but most of them just stay in their little area and they just free range over there. I really do need to let them free range, but since we got some of the new chickens, it's a little harder to get them corralled. So I kind of have to free range them when hubby's here.
I want to say hi to everybody out there. We did have a little technical difficulties getting started, but we are here, and I'm so excited to be here. We've actually got up to 31 degrees, but we've got freezing rain.
Oh, wow. Freezing rain. I think there's some part of Texas that actually got snow. We had days at about 12 or 13 degrees. We had several days in the 12, 13 degree range here. Where we woke up and the water's frozen. And I had turned over one of the cat bowls into my raised planter, and it's still not melted. So that gives you an idea that it's still not really warmed up. But today it's supposed to get up to 60.
Woohoo, you're having a tropical heat wave.
I know. But then some of our nights are still getting down 20 and stuff like that. So
yeah. Yesterday morning, about 2:53 a.m., we had -9 degrees or -10 degrees, and we actually woke up at -2 degrees yesterday. It got up to 21 degrees before the sun set, thankfully. West Tennessee usually does not get snow. We got 7 inches.
Wow. Yeah, so I watched somebody else's video in Tennessee. Hello, Lisa, our Georgia suburban homestead. I have her scheduled for a garden talk coming up here. I'm kind of doing on my Tuesdays. I'm going to do every other week. 1 week will be a guest. 1 week will be gardening. And I'm kind of mixing that in. If I've already done an interview with them, then I try to do the gardening part. But right. I was gonna, if you guys would, if I have a moderator, if one of you guys would put up the link for the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch for me. So if one of you guys aren't friends with her, y'all could be friends with her. She's a really nice lady. She has a lot of great information on her lives. I've learned a lot of different things just listening to her, and just, the hormone disruptors. Like, I knew some of those, because the plant paradox goes along with a lot of that too. But not all of them. There's a few of them that I was like, what?
I was surprised by some of them myself. I really was.
And I need to get back to that. And because of your video, actually, I knew this, but I fell off of it. I need to get back to using more glass and less plastic.
Exactly.
I'm trying to do that.
Well, it's hard to get away from the plastic because everything we buy in the stores comes in plastic. We even buy plastic bags to throw our food in the freezer and other places.
Oh, I know, yeah.
And that's not the way my parents and my mother did. She used those plastic square bowls for the freezer. But she used those waxed cardboard boxes. Years ago, you could get those, and that's what her food went into the freezer in. And they were stackables, which was really, really nice. So you had lots of, you were able to get more into a space. And I'm going to be looking for those. If I find them online, I'm going to be looking really hard to find those. And I'm going to try to get rid of all the plastics altogether.
I'm going to try to I just started working on that. I had some flour in a plastic container. I switched it over to glass. So I'm going to try, and I'm going to try to throw some of those away. But some of them that I don't throw away, I'll use them for chicken and gardening things like, their grit or their oyster shell or diatomaceous earth or whatever you use for the garden or the chickens. I might just try to use some of my plastic stuff for that for now. Yeah. And throw some of it away because I have a lot of those plastic Walmart containers like this that I use. And I know. I was doing that really well when I was on the site before. I've been on it and off it and on and off it. Well, the only thing that makes this time different than every other time is my sister and I are doing accountability buddies on the Eating Better. So we're actually saying, hey, I take a picture. This is my lunch. And so if somebody doesn't answer, you kind of dig into it a little bit to see, hey, are you okay? Are you having a good morning? And then if something happens that they have a candy bar or a soda or something, then you just say, hey, start again tomorrow. Just start. Like last night, my anniversary, and I got to eat what I wanted. But today I had the
anniversary.
What's that?
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I wanted to say I'm not plugging for Azure Standard, but we finally got onto that wagon, and they had their glass half-gallon jars without the lids on sale. I think it was $11 a case. So you got 6 jars.
Where was that?
Okay. Azure Standard. Azure Standard, whatever you want to call it. And you go pick it up when they drop ship to a location in your area, and you go pick it up. And so we've been buying those up. And I gave all my glass gallon jars to the Amish because they use those for their fresh milk. So I had to replace my jars with something.
I love those half-gallon ones. I bought a set of 6 years ago, and I still have them. And I've been trying to move most of my things into them. Also, another thing, I'm going along with your decluttering thing. I have one cabinet I was going to clean out for a video, but I've been trying to put on my counter the things I can use that are part of my healthy eating plan, like my special almond flour and tapioca flour, cassava flour, exethum gum, arrowroot, all that kind of stuff that I am supposed to be eating is front and center, and everything I'm not supposed to be eating or that my husband and my daughter might eat on the weekends, I'm trying to put it behind or up high and also get rid of some of it. So I'm really trying because, I noticed myself avoiding pictures this year and my face getting chubbier, and I don't get as much done as I used to. I just want to have more energy. I want to be healthier. I want to live longer.
David Corey asked a question. Where can you find covered cardboard? Are you talking about the waxed cardboard?
Oh, I had that question up and then.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if he's talking about waxed cardboard, you would get those boxes that fruits and vegetables come in. You could talk to the local grocery and ask them for the waxed boxes. But I really don't know where else to get them.
I've been saving. I saved some boxes that we had switched our Christmas stuff from boxes to totes this year, and I saved all the paper boxes, and I'm gonna use them. I've been trying to cover over the beds. After I get them nice and composted the way I want, I just kind of cover them. It also keeps stuff from growing in them before you're ready, because in Texas we had some warm days, and the ground thought it was time to start growing stuff again. And I'm like, no, 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 not yet.
Yeah, and see here, my problem is I've got flighty chickens that we've got to go out and clip wings on one night.
Uh-oh.
So we've got over 60 chickens, y'all. So we're going to be doing a lot of clipping because they're flying over the fences, and I have flower beds in my front, and then they'll tear them up this spring when everything starts coming up. It'll all be eaten up. So we've got to make sure that they're not going over the fence, and so that's what we're going to be doing probably early this spring. We also have we bought, well, we didn't buy, we were given old wood doors.
Mm-hmm.
And old windows. And so my plans are to make a greenhouse. We were going to do it this fall, but time did not give us that ability to do that. So y'all say a prayer that we can get it done this year, because I want a greenhouse so I can extend the growing season.
All the things I wanted to do in the winter, I haven't got all of those things done. The one thing I did do was I finally got out the soap making stuff, and I had accidentally purchased a goat's milk soap base. So I did my first soap with that. Mom also purchased a soap making kit thing that came with a shea butter melt and pour. So I'm going to use up all my melt and pour, and then maybe by spring I'm going to try the cold process, but I haven't done that yet. But I figure I'll practice kind of on that, kind of get the process down a little bit, and then I'll start my learning videos, and hopefully by spring or summer, in between gardening stuff, I'll
I like the old fashioned
in the ground. Gardening's not too hard. Once you get everything in the ground, then you just got to water it after that. So
if you can keep the chickens out of it. That's we had a horrible time with the chickens. I mean, because they were free ranged and they just eat up everything in sight. They don't care what it is. They're going to eat it. If it looks like it might be tasty, they're going to try it. So even with the cages over it, they were getting to my tomatoes and stuff. It was crazy. But I make the old fashioned lye soap. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I have the stuff for that. And when I was purchasing my soap, since I've never done it, I was purchasing soap bases because I don't have goats. And I purchased a melt and pour by accident, and I thought, well, okay, that's okay. This is good practice for me. And I did the first 6 bars. I think they came out really good. The color was good and everything, and the smell was good. I think I kind of did them 2 at a time so I could have like 3 different smells and colors. I did them by twos, because I did it in the microwave.
I buy soap from the Amish community. I think a lot of theirs is the pour type soaps also. Hey, Teresa with Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. It's been a long time, my friend. And Miss Nancy, welcome in, and welcome in everybody if I haven't said hi already.
So Lisa, to answer your question, it was a goat's milk soap base. It comes in little squares, and then you put it into a glass measuring thing, and you just melt it in the microwave. I do intend to do the lye soap, the cold process soap, but I haven't done it yet. I thought I'm going to just get this melt and pour that I received out of the way first. Because it's like, oh, I bought you melt and pour. I bought you melt and pour. And then they were like, oh, I bought you a soap. I'm like, don't worry about it. The more soap-based things you buy me, the more soap I can make. That's not something that can be duplicated. However, they did buy me 3 immersion blenders. So my
Right.
mom ended up taking hers back. Then my little sister bought me one. I'm going to use that one for the kitchen because it came with the attachments. And then one of them was a little bit more basic. That's the one for my husband. I'm going to use that one for the soap. But that's
Yeah.
for the
I've
last.
actually got two, and I use one for the kitchen, and then I have one for my soap making. Or, and I have candle making stuff too that I need to get everything organized again. But I have soy candles that I made uh, several years ago, and I still have cases of that because I went on this binge where all I was doing was making candles. So I've got enough candles to last us for several years. So I really won't be making any candles anytime soon. But my neighbor is a beekeeper. So I'm going to be getting the beeswax from them. And I'm going to be going through the process of how to clean it and use it. And I do have plans for it. And it's going to be replacing plastic wrap when I do. So I'm giving y'all hints of what I'm going to be doing.
Well, one thing I do want to do, I want to try making those bowl covers
Mm-hmm.
with the material with the wax coating, and I have that beeswax on my list. I watched Homestead Tessie do the bowl covers, and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah, I love Miss Tessie. She's something else.
That's the reason I started YouTube. I
She's
was
the reason I started also, and I let her know I've been
listening to
watching
comments.
probably since the very beginning. Somewhere, I think she had been on for maybe a year, and I've been watching all this time, watching her.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't got to watch her lately. Every once in a while, the thing is still on. I don't know what time of the day she puts out her videos. The thing's still on though, but every once in a while, I'll go and watch them for my own pleasure. You know, not that she necessarily knows I'm there because she's huge now, but I thought if Homestead Tessie can do it and not be perfect, maybe I can do this too. So,
Right.
hello, Mimi's Place. How are you? Yeah, but she's the one that inspired me. It felt like I had a sister there with me because when I very first was here by myself, I was kind of lonely. And it was like I had her here talking to me all the time. It's like I knew her, you know. And then eventually I was like, I think I want to try doing this YouTube thing. And then I waited a few months before I actually talked to my husband and my stepdaughters about it. And I thought they were going to laugh and think I was crazy, but they didn't. They were like, okay.
Yeah. Christy Betts lives right down the road from me, y'all, and she says she's seeing ice on the trees. So, yeah, we're getting stuff today.
I hope we get at least one snow during the day this year where I can see it. I hate it when it snows at night and then you can't see it and film it and do all the stuff.
Right.
That.
Well, I haven't even ventured out of the house. My husband's been home all week. He can't get down the road. The roads are iced over. We've got black ice because we've got silly county people that puts down that brine before it snows. And all that does is create black ice. And I'm like, why would you brine a road before it snows? You're supposed to put it on top of the snow so it would melt it.
Shower caps. I never thought of using shower caps for bowl covers. I guess, yeah, that would work.
Yeah, they would, but they're plastic.
Yeah, I did want to make those, the ones with the beeswax. Hello, the NDT show. How are you? Welcome in. I was going to have you tell everybody about your collaborations.
Okay. The first collaboration is hashtag freezer clean out 24. This began on January the 8th and it will go through December the 30th. As a matter of fact, all three of these will end on December the 30th. And then around January the 2nd, I will do a summary on all three of these open challenge collaborations. The second one is called hashtag Declutter Challenge 24. That one began on January the 9th. And then the third one is called hashtag Cleaning Hacks 24. And that one began on January the 11th. And all you have to do to participate in this is to use the hashtag and attach my channel to your title, and in your put it also in your description box. There is a playlist you can also attach to your description box. Sorry about the dog, y'all. And we're going to have fun with this. We're going to get some things done that we normally would not get done on YouTube. We're going to be
everybody officially knows what's in my freezer now, but that's only one freezer. I have another freezer out here.
Yeah. I've got 3 big freezers, and then I've got 2 half freezers. And I showed one whole freezer and the 2 half freezers on the very first video. Y'all, that's a lot of food that I've got to work through. But the idea is that we get our freezers cleaned out so we're ready for garden season.
Yeah, I know. I actually know what's in there. And that's when I took my shredded zucchini from the summer and I heated it up and I put spaghetti sauce over it. And I had spaghetti over shredded zucchini as part of my healthy eating thing.
Yeah.
And it was delicious, guys. I know it sounds weird, but it was good. What gave me the idea is I was looking at some of the freezer items at Walmart, some of the healthier stuff, and they had shredded zucchini. And I thought, I don't need that. I'm going to have a whole garden full of zucchini because this is it grows really well here.
You can do yellow squash. You can do yellow squash, or you can do zucchini.
Yeah, I'm going to try it with spaghetti squash too.
And it doesn't take as long to cook, and it's healthier for you. You know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. And it didn't freak me out like buying some of those weird noodles because I knew exactly what it was. Like, oh, it's zucchini. I love zucchini. It was very filling. I didn't even eat all of it. It was so filling. And I'm going to try later on to try to make a healthier spaghetti sauce. But at the time I was using up some spaghetti sauce I had up in the cabinet.
That may be a challenge for the future. You might think about turning that into a challenge. An open challenge.
A healthy spaghetti sauce?
No, just a healthy eating.
Oh, yeah, healthy eating, yeah. I do want to show, actually the recipe I was going to do today is a plant paradox Dr. Gundry recipe of a cookie. And so I'm planning on, and I've done it before, and I have a playlist of other Dr. Gundry recipes. And I may show on a video this spaghetti idea because I think other people need to try this too. And I think in the summer, I can actually maybe put it through my KitchenAid on one of those settings. And I think I can make it a little bit more like spaghetti, but it was perfectly good shredded like that too. I just thawed it out in the strainer and squeezed all the juice out and then put it in a pan with a little bit of olive oil, got it warmed up, and the spaghetti sauce with the meat, and I just put it on top of it like you would spaghetti, and it was good.
There's actually a vegetable gadget that you can use it's a hand crank that you can make your noodles with, or you can buy a machine that does it, if you want to go with the electricity. I've got both of them. I love using them.
I have a lot of pasta attachments, and I'm wondering if any of that kind of stuff would do any of that.
I don't know. The declutter challenge is everybody's got clutter in their house somewhere. And if you don't get control over it, it will take over your house, literally. It causes depression and all kinds of things, emotionally. We get emotionally attached. And so this is a way to really clean out your home in 2024 and get yourself back on track. We've all been through this Cavovo thing. And, mine started when I got Cavovo pneumonia in 2022. And I had started working on my craft room. And for 2 years, I have not been able to get in there. So I have been spending the whole month of January working on that room. And I'll probably go into February before I get it finished. But I made it a year long. So if you don't have something for a video slot and some of y'all only do it once a week. Some of us do it 7 days a week. And you need inspiration. Here it is. You can get in there and clean out a drawer or a cabinet or something, and you're making progress on your house, but you're also putting out useful content on your channel. And the third one is cleaning hacks.
Quite a few people watched the freezer clean out. I was on a live the other day and somebody said, "Oh yeah, you have such and such in the freezer." I was like, "Oh my gosh, everybody knows what I have in my freezer now. It's crazy." It's
Well,
like
actually,
everybody wanted to know what was in there. What's in there?
I actually enjoyed watching yours because I learned a trick. You use those boxes in your freezer and you organize. I thought, well, that's great, because I thought about doing that with my upright freezer and my chest freezers.
That
But
way I know if I'm out of chicken or fish or pork or whatever, which I'm trying to get rid of the pork because that's not really going to follow along with my plan. But I'd like to replace the pork and have my chicken in there. And then I know when I'm out of broccoli, I can just pull it out and see, okay, there's no veggies left in there.
right. And my half freezers are overflow freezers. So if it doesn't fit in the other freezers, it goes into the overflow. And so I'm trying to get all that cleaned out. And then the last collaboration challenge I'm doing is Cleaning Hacks 24. Now, if you use store-bought cleaners and you have a good cleaning hack, by all means, use it on the video. It's your video, your channel. You do what you want to do. I'm using natural cleaners and natural hacks that I've learned over the years. So, again, it's a year long, so you've got plenty of opportunities. When you're missing a video inspiration, go grab one of these open collaboration challenges because they make a great filler and you might get some new friends on your channel and some watch time. So that's what the game plan is for my channel.
You never know what it is that people are curious about, and I thought it was going to be hard to film, but there's a counter right across from where the refrigerator is in the freezer. And when I set my tripod on the smallest setting, it shot right there. It was like, man, this is perfect. Wow, this is great.
Yeah, you learned some new tricks on filming.
I did. And I was thinking I'm going to clean a cabinet out over here. There's a counter on the other side. And I could just clear that, put my little tripod there, and film myself over here cleaning this out. So I'm going to try to do the declutter one today. And I have a cabinet over here where I have all my stuff I use for making my shakes in the morning because like I said, I've been on this diet and off and on and off and oh my gosh. And so I have a lot of the stuff, but I need to clear it out because, I'm back on. I need to get everything organized in front and center and everything I'm not supposed to be eating a little further away from me and even throw some of it away. But anyway.
Well, Teresa, you're not showing them everything in your house. You're just showing if you're doing a declutter challenge, you can just show a drawer that you're cleaning out or a cabinet. You're not showing everything in your house.
I showed you one freezer, but I didn't show you what was in the other freezer.
Yeah.
And nobody even knows what's in the dining room or any other room of the house.
And my freezer clean out is going to be canning, it's going to be dehydrating, it's going to be tossing because I'm sure there's stuff in there that's so old that I won't recognize it. And all of us are notorious for putting stuff in the freezer without labeling it.
Oh,
and I'm guilty of it. I'm sure everybody else is. But Teresa lives close to a big city, so I understand where she prefers the thieves not know what she has in her house. I totally get that. But the whole idea is for us to be a little bit on the vulnerable side, but we're actually showing people the real us at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, there's things you would never guess that's in someone's freezer. You're like, oh, well, I would have never thought of butter being in the freezer, but there you go, butter.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what that was you were holding in the picture. I was like, what is that? It kind of looks like popcorn. I mean, it does make you curious. You're like, what is that she's holding in the picture?
Yeah, and I did actually go ahead and churn it because I wanted to make sure all the milk was out of it. It was cream that I had put in the freezer because I didn't have time and I didn't want it to go bad. So I had taken the cream off the milk.
You had cookie dough in your freezer too.
Yeah, and it's still there, and I need to do something with it.
Well, since my hubby's going through the thing with his dad being sick, I figured I'll save that for a day when he's having a really bad day, and I'll use that for some good comfort food for him. I'll come in here, and all I have to do is thaw the cookies for a little bit, roll them up, stick them in the. I mean, it'll be so easy. So I have the cookies in the freezer for when he's going through his stuff, because he's having some good and bad days right now with his dad being sick. So, hello,
Yeah.
our new land. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Yeah, I store my butter in the freezer, Teresa. I do that. And I do have some herb butter that I did on one of my videos in my freezer. And let me tell you, it's so easy to pull out that little bitty pat and just, if you're cooking a steak or a pork chop or chicken and you want some extra flavor after it's cooked, you just drop that on there and it just melts all over it and just adds that extra dimension. Very, very good, healthy for you. Y'all, margarine is not health food.
I used to eat, I used to eat margarine for many, 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 many years, almost my whole life, really. And then the very first time I went on the healthy eating plan, the plant paradox, um, that's when I went on to butter. And even when I fell off the wagon, I still have remained on the butter and the olive oil. But when I'm not doing well, I have the vegetable oil, and I still have some, but I put it way up on the top. If something happens, gosh forbid, we run out, it'll be up there. Sometimes I like to use it if you're frying a lot of something like fish or something.
Mm-hmm.
I like to use it when you're going to be using a lot of it up.
Well, what surprised me is we've been buying Crisco, and Crisco has soy in it now.
Oh,
And it used to be a pure vegetable oil. Now it's, or a pure vegetable oil. Um, but now it's got soy in it. So I'm contemplating getting rid of that, and I'm just going to be using bacon fat after that. Getting back to healthier eating, my cholesterol was through the roof, y'all. And the doctor kept saying, don't eat the butter, don't eat the butter. Well, if you eat margarine, or if you're old school like me and you grew up eating oleo, which was shortening with a little bit of color in it, you were not getting anything healthy. And so I told my doctor, I said, no, I'm going to keep eating the butter and I'm going to watch my cholesterol numbers go down. And they are going down, and it's unbelievable.
yeah, it's really all that other stuff.
It
The
really,
butter.
it really is.
Now, I mean, I'm not saying smother everything in butter, but I mean, I still put a little bit in green beans. Um, I still use it in recipes but
And
I try to
actually,
have the healthy stuff. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Those
yeah,
are the ones I use.
rapeseed oil, if it's cold pressed, you want the cold pressed oils. If
Mm-hmm.
it's hot pressed, you're getting something else in there that you don't want. Lard is better than margarine, especially, yeah, out in the woods. But you know what? Uh, yeah, lard is good. And what is it? The fat that you get off your beef. I can't think. My brain just tallow. Tallow is very healthy for you too. And lard and tallow you can make soap with.
Yeah.
But if you go to the store and you buy a brick of lard, turn that package around and read all the extra stuff that they put in there, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's better to go to your butcher and ask them for your end pieces off of, the fat off the beef or the pork, and render your own.
I started making my own. Another thing I started when I started the Plant Paradox, I started making my own ranch, powdered ranch, and my own
Yeah.
powdered taco seasoning. And I have one more powdered mix that I'm working on getting the ingredients for that I'm going to make on my channel. I was trying to find something I had not made yet because I've already done the taco seasoning. I've already done the ranch. I found one more. I just have a couple more ingredients to get before I can get that together. I'm going to have to do
Yeah,
it
and
off list because you got to have all your seasoning in a row. And I need to go and make up more ranch and more taco seasoning too.
if you turn those packages over that you buy in the store,
Mm-hmm.
and you read the ingredients, you're like, what is that? Why do I have that in there? And so many of them have that genetic modified crapola that is
Yeah.
bad for your body.
I'm on mine. I'm not supposed to be eating potatoes. And there's something else on the package too, but there's potato starch in taco seasoning. You wouldn't think, but there is. And so when I make it with the exethum gum stuff. And,
Yeah.
I have arrowroot, exethum gum, some of those little things that you add that, are plant-based type stuff. So hello,
Yeah.
Evan's Family Adventures.
Teresa said, avoid canola oil. Canola oil is not good for you either. And see, a lot of my autoimmune issues that I have was brought on because I was eating stuff from the store. I had no clue. Of course, we were all clueless back then. We trusted the industry to feed us healthy foods. Well, that trust has been broken. And a lot of us are waking up and realizing, hey, what my grandparents did was the right way to live. My grandparents raised all their food. They collected the milk straight from the cow. They slaughtered their own pigs, whatever meat they were having. They cured their own meats. They canned, and I'm trying to bring that back to my family so that they can eat healthier, and gardening and using the right seeds, because not every seed out there is heirloom seeds, organic seeds, and that's what you're wanting to get. Avoid anything that has been genetically modified as much as possible. And y'all, I'm regaining my health because of it.
Yeah, I feel like everything you change in your, like, there are few food cures, and they're almost, not every one, but almost every single solitary thing can be solved by the way you eat. Like, you can
Exactly.
solve all that autoimmune. Like, I've listened to Dr. Gundry and I've read all his books, and a lot of what he says makes sense. And I'm going to follow everything. It's the only thing I'm changing this time is I'm going to continue in the summer when I get my own homegrown vegetables. I'm going to eat my squash. I'm going to eat my peppers, and I'm going to eat my tomatoes because I'm a gardener. I'm not giving up my veggies. But other than that, I think I can follow most of it pretty well.
Yeah. I'm former military. Thankfully, I wasn't in there very long. I was former Army Reserve. But they have experimented on our military for years and years and years. And it goes back, I think, to World War One, when all the experimentation started taking place. And you see all of our veterans with some kind of something going on with them now. And it's just heartbreaking to know that they did that to our military that was protecting our country. I have a lot of issues that I get upset about, but that was one of the biggest ones that I have.
One of my observations that I've had for many years, before I even really knew why it was happening, but you notice how, like, I wear a size 6.5 shoe. Literally all the children of today wear 9.5, 10, 10.5, 11. They all got huge feet. And I think it is from all that meat being pumped full of hormones. I could swear to it.
I wouldn't doubt it. And Teresa's right again. People have turned their backs on cooking from scratch. I have always cooked from scratch. My mother cooked from scratch. My grandparents cooked from scratch. But it's so convenient to go grab that boxed whatever off the shelf at the store, throw it in a pot, and you have an instant meal. Fast food has become so popular that we had restaurants literally lining the streets down in Memphis.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter where you go, and if your family didn't want what you had at one place, mom would go to two or three places to go get dinner for the night,
Yeah,
so
my
she
mom
didn't have to
ate
cook.
one dinner and you ate it or you didn't. That was it. There was no
That's the way I
cooking.
was. You know, you ate it or you didn't eat. And I tell my grandkids, you know, when they were growing up and they would be picky, I'm like, Nanny doesn't give you anything that isn't healthy and good for you, and doesn't that has a good taste to it. So they would try the foods. If they didn't like it, they didn't have to eat it. I still have grandsons that won't eat pickles, but you know,
Mhm.
you have to acquire the taste for a lot of your foods. My
Yeah,
mother
love it.
ate a lot of liver, chicken livers especially. I would actually gag and throw up every time she put liver on my plate, and I
Mm.
would try it,
I draw the line at liver.
but
Ugh.
I ate. Listen, I ate brains and eggs until I was old enough to read what the label on the can said, and then I told my mother, I said, "Don't feed me that no more." And I was 6 years old. I got a spanking for saying that, but I wasn't going to eat it.
Yeah, my mom used to make I like tuna, like tuna salad, cold tuna. But I don't like tuna cooked. And my mom used to make like tuna roll ups or tuna casserole, and I didn't like hot tuna. But when my mom made that, I still put a little on my plate and ate it because there was no other choice. She wasn't she says, I'm not a short order cook. You know, like one of her friends used to make something different for different people in the family. My mom didn't operate that way. You eat. Now she said she tried to make sure everybody had one or two things that they liked. You know, maybe one kid didn't like pinto beans, but the other three did, you know. Then that kid that didn't like it was just going to get one side instead of two, you know.
Right. Now, Teresa said something else is true. Chicken liver is best for anemia. I have hemochromatosis in my family, which means that we have very high iron levels, or we can have very low iron levels. I'm on the low end, but one of my daughters has the hemochromatosis and has to go and have these blood fusions done to drain off that excess iron off her body. Mine is low. I cook with a cast iron constantly. Beets is another food that's really good for iron, an iron source, and it's especially good for women um, when they are having their periods. They need to have that extra boost of iron,
Mhm.
and so that's something that people don't talk about these days. But it's something that we need to put out there because you know we got young people coming up; they have no clue.
Yeah,
They literally have no clue.
they don't. They don't know. There's a lot of vitamins that they're missing that they need that's causing all these health problems that they're having. And on top of some of this anxiety and depression is caused from all these hormone disruptors and stuff and this food that we're eating.
Yep.
I noticed the food quality going down on some things from the store, and I'm like, and it just gets worse and worse and worse every time.
Yeah, and they're putting bugs in our flowers and stuff. You know, I don't want to be eating cricket meal. I don't want to eat chocolate covered ants. Why would I want to eat crickets? You know, they're trying to change the way that we eat, but we were bred or genetically formed. Either you're a meat eater or you're not. You're genetically formed with that. It's a genetic disposition. So it's really hard for somebody that has lived with meat all their life to suddenly become vegetarian and
Oh,
vice versa.
yeah, been eating meat since I was a kid. My daddy was a deer hunter, and we processed our own deer, and we had the grinder thing, and we would take turns, and daddy would cut it and bring the pieces in, and we would process it right there on the kitchen table. We had all the paper, you know, the freezer paper stuff that you package it in, and you know, one person's grinding and one person's putting the pieces and one person's labeling, and everybody had their job, and we had this little assembly line of our deer meat, you know, and we
Yep.
waited.
And
the hamburger and then the little pieces of steak. And
I was taught at a very young age when I went to my grandparents' house down in Mississippi, do not ask your grandmother what she's cooking for supper. Because she would always say chicken, but we never knew what it was. And there's no telling what all I have eaten over the years that I didn't know what it was. But I know for one, I did eat raccoon down there because I was staying with some friends, and their brothers actually shot a raccoon thinking it was something else in the tree. And so they dressed it out, brought it in to grandma, and she put it in a big pot of vegetables. And I tried my best to eat around that raccoon that night because I was really hungry. But I mean, if we have to go back to that kind of eating, can you do it?
I will if I'm hungry enough, I guess.
Yep.
I will.
If it's cooked right, I believe it is. Now I like goat, but I like goat meat, but I like it barbecued. I do not like it in a stew because it's fatty, and the same with cooked too. It's kind of fatty.
Frog and snake. And
my husband's over here saying, "Yeah, buddy."
Frog, snake, gator. I don't know what else. That's what I can think of at this.
Yeah, but I mean, my mother would talk about them cooking possum and feeding possums cold cereal for a week to get
Here's a little trivia question for you guys that are in the chat right now. During the Great Depression, what was the first item that they ran out of? Everybody type their answer in the chat, and I'll tell you what the answer is. What's the first thing they ran out of in the Great Depression? And then after they type a couple of answers, you can tell me what you think it is. Anybody else got an answer? When I was very first began with YouTube, I was watching a lot. I was watching a lot of homesteaders, but I was also watching a lot of preppers. Wait a couple more minutes. Okay, tell me what you think it is, Susan.
Well, I was going to say bread too because I know that the wheat crops were failing, but the first thing that happened in the Great Depression was the money ran out.
Yeah. What I heard, and I'm not saying this is true. I'm no trivia person. I'm no history person, but from what I read, it was sugar.
Yeah, sugar,
which is crazy because sugar will literally last for many years. Now it'll get hard, and you'll have to beat it down. But sugar was the first thing we ran out of.
You can throw a piece of stale bread in with the sugar, and it'll soften it up.
Yeah. So yeah, sugar. I just thought of that while we were talking about the Great Depression. And I did read when I was getting into the learning a lot about the prepping and stuff like that. I read that somewhere. Like I say, I don't know that it's the hardcore truth, but that's what I read.
Yeah. See, my parents lived through the Great Depression and World War II and every war after that. And my mother saved everything. She literally saved bread wrapper, the little metal bread wrappers, twist ties. Mm-hmm. She would save those. We had when we moved one time, we had like 100 or better bread ties in a jar that she had saved.
I have some of those saved too. But I saved them for a different reason. I don't do this every year, but every third or fourth year, we'll have like a 4th of July party at my house. And when we have that, I like to decorate the trees with like bows and decorations and stuff. And those little bread ties are perfect for getting those decorations to stay in the tree. So right. I like to do like a really cool 4th of July tree with lights and bows and flags, and it's real convenient to do the flags on. So I save the bread ties for that reason. But I don't do it every year. I did some of it last year because Niecy was coming.
I still save bread ties, but I don't save them like my mother did. But she would save every jar.
Yeah, if I saved every jar, it would.
We had boxes and boxes of jars. I mean, literally floor to ceiling jars. And now I have started saving jars, and I'm like, okay, Mom, you're coming out in me. But I mean, they would recycle everything. The clothing became quilts, bed sheets, and stuff like that, pot holders. I mean, just amazing what they could do with what little they had.
I know. I watched a lot of those old shows like Little House on the Prairie, Anne of Green Gables, where they recycle all their stuff and clothing and everything.
And and they did not throw things away like we do. We are a throwaway society. That's why we have so many thrift stores and antique stores, because people throw it out.
Yeah.
And somebody's trying to save it. If we had put all that stuff in our landfills, can y'all just imagine?
Flower socks, same clothes. Yeah. I've heard of that on, in the Bible. In the Bible, they talk about that. But also Little House on the Prairie. But that was on the TV show, so I don't know how realistic that was. But I'm thinking
it was real, because my mother talked about the flour sack underwear and the flour sack dresses that she had to wear.
Flour sack underwear does not sound comfortable.
It was actually a very soft cotton fabric.
Really, it looks like it would be rough.
Yeah. So it was a very soft cloth, and the flour companies actually would pick out fabrics that was pretty and appealing to pack their flour in, because they knew people were reusing it during that period. And I wish they would go back to that. I am so sick of paper and plastics in the store. Yeah. Go back to using natural materials to pack our food in. Thank you for coming in, P and J. Appreciate you being here.
J Homestead Adventure. Yeah, and we don't even think about the fact that women had to make their own pads and stuff.
Oh yeah, my mother talked about that.
Yep, and they had to pin it to their clothes because it didn't have adhesive.
And my mother says salt will take out blood. That's what they used.
Yep.
And then you would lay them out in the sun to whiten them. Of course, you had to lay it where the men couldn't see them.
Yeah.
Because that was a no-no. And things like that. And they took care of their shoes. Every Saturday got waxed. The shoe polish put on them. Because they may only have one pair of shoes. How many pairs of shoes do you have in your closet, ladies? Some of us have got a lot of shoes.
I did get rid of 3 pairs of shoes last year, and I purchased 1 pair of tennis shoes and 2 pair of kind of like dressy boots that you would wear to church, or if you're going to go out to dinner. Like last night, I got dressed up because we went out for our anniversary. But we are not eating out, people. That we go out for occasions. I cook. I cooked all the lunch and dinner meals. I admit I am not a morning person. I'm not a breakfast person. So if we have breakfast, hubby is the one that cooks it. I'll tell you one area of the kitchen you're not going to see for the declutter, and that's my leftover cabinet over there. It is a hot mess. Sometimes my husband puts up dishes and he just puts it in there and shuts the door. I open it up and it comes tumbling out at me. I'm like, what in the world did he do? It's like he set a booby trap for me on purpose. So I'm going to have to clean that one out off camera, even though I'm sure it would be funny if the things start tumbling down at me. But yeah, I need to clean that out big time. And I'm going to throw away some plastics while I'm down there.
My mom talked about World War II. They had the ration books. You had the little ration books where you could only get so many items from the store, and you had to turn in that coupon in order to purchase something. And using a eyeliner pencil to put a line down the back of your leg because you couldn't afford the stockings, because they had a line down the back of the stocking.
It used to be to where you had to wear pantyhose at every single job you had. Like I even had jobs like that where you had to wear pantyhose with your skirt, dress, or even dress pants.
Yeah.
You had to wear pantyhose. There
Yeah.
was a day when you used to have to wear pantyhose.
Well,
And I worked in those days.
stockings evolved into pantyhose, but stockings were held up by garters.
Wow. Yeah. I just had to get rid of my tennis shoes this year and replace them.
Yeah, I've got some shoes that I need to replace too, but I try not to go overboard with the shoes because I could easily do it. I love shoes. But when I was growing up, I had a pair of play shoes, and then I had my Sunday shoes, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. I plan to get rid of quite a bit of shoes this year. If it's something I think the homeless can use, if I'm getting rid of it, I will put it into the homeless ministry. You really don't realize how much stuff you have until you realize how much stuff other people don't have. And then you're like, they're literally carrying everything they have in a backpack or in one or two bags. Everything they own is with them.
Right.
And it makes you feel very, very frivolous when you realize you have 20 pairs of shoes and that person has one that's pretty worn down. And that makes you feel really bad. And then you have a closet full of clothes and you're like, I don't need all this stuff. And one thing I want to do before the summer, I'm going to go through a lot of my tank tops and the ones that don't fit me right because that drawer is kind of like gaping, like I can't even shut it. I want to go through them, try them on, and donate some back into the ministry for some lady that's outside all day and she needs some nice summer clothing. So I'm going to get rid of some of that stuff, which I pretty much only wear those at home now for gardening.
Right. I don't wear a lot of sleeveless clothes because I have the old lady arms, y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I used to wear them in public. I stopped doing that now. I believe me, I am a lot more modest than I used to be. We'll just say that. But now I have on at least a t-shirt. Like today it's going to be 60 something, so I have on a t-shirt. But
right.
There's some days here I walked around in a shirt and a jacket because it was so cold in here because we don't have we don't have a fireplace or anything. We do have a wood burning stove, but it's going to cost quite a bit to get it set up to a legal standpoint because they want it to be legal.
That one ain't dripping.
So it's expensive. It's going to be expensive. Oh yeah. We had our sinks dripping for 3 or 4 days, I think.
Well, we just reached 32 degrees.
Yeah. Today's going to be our warmest day, but it's still going to get down pretty cold tonight.
Yeah, and next week we're going to be in the 60s, supposedly.
Rain.
So, and
That's
rain.
Supposed to be today. We're supposed to be in the 60s today. What kind of animals do you have on do you call it a farm or a homestead?
I call it a homestead. It's kind of a farm, but it's a homestead. We bought this property. It had a double wide mobile home on it that needed a lot of work. It was a repo mobile home, and it's a 1.5 acre lot. We have around 60 big chickens, and then we have 18 bannies. They're BB Reds. They're really cute. They just started laying their little bitty eggs.
Aww.
We have 10 ducks, and we have 1 turkey hen. And we're looking for a turkey tom to go with her. And right now she's housing with the big chickens.
Yeah. We had one chicken that, well, we purchased 6 in the spring. One of them, I don't know if she got stuck under the coop somehow. I don't know what happened, but somehow she ended up breaking her neck. And then after that one, someone gave us a chicken and we thought it was older than what it was. And it was like right at the end of fall going into winter. And I'm like, I got it here. I was like, oh my gosh, this is almost a baby chicken. And so we had to leave her by herself. I named her Paris after Paris Hilton because she was going to be in her own little hotel for a while because she was too little to be put in with any of the others. So I named her Paris. And she's going to look different. I don't know what breed she is because she was given to us. But so we do have 6 new chickens. So the one we lost got pretty much given to us again. So we should have a pretty good year this year. My husband actually sells the eggs at work. And the process of getting chickens is what started me on the YouTube journey because people talked about YouTube, but I just, whatever. And then when I started researching chickens, I started going on to YouTube, and that's what got me started. I started with Becky's Homestead Tessie. Then I went into Preppers, which led into Homesteaders, which led into this. But my younger sister is actually the one who named my channel, Gail's Southern Living. So she gets credit for naming my channel.
Hey, Nora, welcome in. And I saw Joe was here.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter is actually raising, what is the name of those chickens? This really expensive chicken breed that everybody is just gaga over and paying exorbitant amounts for a chicken. Huh?
What kind of chicken?
I can't remember they're solid black. Their beaks are black. Their little tongue in there is black.
That French Marin, maybe?
It's not Marin. It's something else. But they lay black eggs. Their skin is black.
Ooh,
and they're sought after.
Never heard that one.
Yeah,
I have golden sex links. I have Wyandottes. What's the black one? Astrolorp.
What is the name of that chicken?
Oh, and I only have one Easter egger left.
Anyway, these chickens can go for up to $1,000 a piece or more. Unbelievable. Christy has Attila the hen.
Joe. A chicken named Joe. I guess you could name it J-O instead of J-O-E.
We don't name our chickens because they might become a meal. But I do go in there and talk to the girls every now and then, and if they're not laying good, and tell them you're going to be fried chicken and dumplings. Start naming off all these.
I eat my chickens, but if I have to because I'm hungry, I will.
Yeah. Well,
I'm eating the mean ones first. The ones that are always hurting the others. I'm eating the mean ones first, and then I'll go down from there.
But my neighbor has named one of our Dominiquers Henrietta. We don't know which one it is, but Henrietta goes to visit him every day, and she usually brings her girlfriends with her, because he's feeding bread over the fence.
Oh, what's the black and white ones that I have? I have Wyandottes, but I have another black and white breed. What are they called? Oh, Barred Rocks.
Yeah.
I have 3 Barred Rocks, but I can tell them apart because Poppy is shorter, Oreo has more white, and Fern has more black. So I can actually tell those apart. But there's my Wyandottes, I cannot tell them apart. I have no idea.
Okay, the chicken's name that my daughter has is I Am Sabanis.
Oh.
I think they're native of Indonesia. They are sought after for their meat. Says the bones, the organs, the skin, the beak, the tongue, the wallets, the comb, and all feathering and their eggs are black.
Threatened to mention nuggets, yeah. That cracks me up when people name their pigs sausage, bacon.
Okay, the I am Samani. I just looked up what's the most expensive chicken. Is the most expensive chicken on the market.
Coming in.
$6,000. I was off by 5,000.
No, no. My luck is that expensive chicken, the very next day something would happen to it. Or
Well,
2 months later.
she's gotten some eggs hatched, and she's been trying to give us a pair of these. And I told her, I said, baby, I said, we have all kinds of breeds running around our yard. These poor chickens live in a coop because they're not allowed to go roam because they're such an expensive breed. And you literally have to be licensed to have them.
Wow.
If you're going to sell them. And I said, I don't need this thing crossbreeding with all my other chickens, and that's probably what would happen here. But she's been trying her best to
you
give.
So you do have roosters?
I do.
2 Americanos.
We have 2 Americanas, and then we have 3 of the BB Red chickens. Let me see if I can find a picture of this
I wanted to get some more Americanas, but they didn't have any this year. They had the golden sex links and the Wyandottes. That's what was available at our store this year.
Right.
I like the temperament of the Easter egger / Americana type chickens. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's an I am Samani.
Oh yeah.
And that's the rooster. I mean, they're solid. I'm picking up the light off the camera.
I have one Astrolorp that is a solid black, but she has a little bit of red, kind of a reddy rust color around her head.
Yeah. Our best chickens, our best layers are these little brown chickens we get up in Kentucky. And I don't even know what kind of breed they are. And then we like the Americanas. We like the colored eggs.
Yeah, I miss having my light green eggs. I miss having my light green eggs.
The Americanas and the Buffingtons are really good at sitting on nests. They become very broody, and so they're good nest setters.
God, we had one that was so broody last year.
And they get very, very mean when they're broody, let me tell you. I go out there with the thick gloves on if I'm going to reach under them to get an egg out because they will peck you.
One of them gripe me out this morning for going in and opening the nesting box above her head. She was griping me out for it.
Oh yeah, now let them know real quick who feeds them.
What are you doing in here? And I that one particular coop, it's real far down. It's just an old shipping type container that we cut a hole in and attached it to the coop. But right now that's their favorite place. I think that maybe it's warmer for the winter because it's got all the sides all covered and it's warm, and they get in that corner and they have a place in the hay where they lay their eggs. So I have to get like a soup scooper type thing down there to get the eggs. So I open it and she scared me and I scared her, and she kind of took off, and then I got the eggs out, and then I just said, okay, do your business now. Now I got to go back out there and see if she laid some. I'm pretty sure she has.
I think we have some Morans out there. They like to lay the chocolate eggs. They're good layers.
I had one once, but it turned out to be something else.
And then this year we got a mixed lot, and we got something that's got a little tuft on their head, and I have no idea what breed they are. They got this cute little...
just get whatever Tractor Supply has available, and we don't get them every year because there's just 2 of us in the house. We just get them like every about 2-3 years. We get them. Yeah. We got some last year, so
my husband
6 new ones.
My husband wants to get a pair of geese. I want a peacock.
A peacock, yeah. Our neighbor had a peacock there for a while. But I think it eventually got ran over because it used to come out of the yard and walk down the street or down the sidewalk. And I heard a rumor that Well, it was Peacock Pete. That was his name. And Peacock Pete got ran over by a car. Can you imagine the person who ran over our local peacock, how bad they felt?
Right.
That must have been awful. Yeah. We had roosters a couple of times, but I'm a very soft, sensitive, sweet person. And he was just bullying our hens big time. And we got rid of that one. We got another one. That one ended up killing one of our chickens, one of our hens. And I'm like, I just can't handle the brutality of having that male pecking at their heads like that.
Right.
It actually killed one of my favorite chickens, which was Penelope. She was my very first chicken to ever lay an egg. He killed Penelope, and he was gone the day after that. He was out. I'm like, nope, you're done. Bye.
Well, this is the chicken. I'm not sure exactly what the breed is. I don't know if y'all can see that, but they got like a little mohawk on their head. I think they're an olive egger layer.
Mm.
They lay kind of an olive colored egg.
Mm-hmm. I do miss my green eggs. Maybe at some point I'll get another Easter egger to get my little. It was nice to have that. Now I have dark brown, medium brown, and light brown, or almost a peach color.
Yeah, we get all different color eggs, and we're doing really, really well with them now.
Yeah, we have some laying double yolkers right now.
Well, that's good.
They did slow down in the recent cool weather, but I feel like our chickens don't slow down as much as the people who are having colder weather.
Right.
I feel like, because, I'm comparing numbers with my friends and they're like, it's not as cold over there. I'm like, I think that must be why they're not laying. They're laying more.
Yeah. I probably won't get any peacocks, Teresa, but I've always liked the peacocks. We live right behind a state park. And so if we put a peacock on our property, that's probably where it'll end up. Just saying. But we are seriously contemplating getting a pair of geese because they will fight off predators.
Yeah. That would be nice.
I'd also like to get a donkey or a goat to put back there with them, as an extra precautionary thing. But the goats are real bad about stepping on other animals. So I don't know about that. I'd like to have a goat so I can get goat's milk.
Have you watched Simply Jan Homestead?
Yes.
She has a donkey named Toby.
Toby. Mm-hmm. Toby being a good boy.
Yeah. I believe he's by himself. They recently made a shelter for him, like a temporary shelter because it was snowing and really icy over there. But I think there might have been a little bit of trouble with their temporary.
Right. We have coyotes and fox and everything that are predators out here. We have eagles and hawks and owls. They're all predators. And so we've thought about getting something that we could put back there with the chickens just to be an extra protection. Donkeys will make a lot of noise and you will know something's going on. But having to take care of their hooves and teeth, I don't know about.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could ask Jan about the donkey thing. She could give you a little advice on that. She really is. She's very attached to hers. It feels like it's like a dog or something. She treats it like a dog, in my opinion. Llamas.
I don't know if I have enough space for a llama.
Oh, llamas are guard animals? Is that what you're saying?
Spit on you.
I think maybe the vineyard chicks might have llamas. I don't know. Seemed like I remember. Is it llamas or emus? They have one of them.
Yeah, we knew some people down in Memphis that had emus that lived in Millington area, Raleigh, Millington,
Mhm.
and we actually they brought us some meat from it, and I was like, nope, not eating that. It was tough. Didn't know how to cook it, so that was off the menu. The
Okay.
eggs equaled like 12 a dozen eggs, so one egg.
I've never had any eggs except for chicken. I've never had duck eggs or quail eggs, or I've never had any. I would try them if I had someone around me that could give me some. I would try it. I've heard
Right.
they're really good.
Well, we've tried the duck eggs. We've tried the turkey eggs. I use those specifically for baking. We got friends that will eat duck eggs instead of chicken eggs, you know, and they'll eat the turkey eggs, but they're higher in cholesterol because they're equal to 2 hen eggs.
The duck egg is?
Yeah,
Okay.
duck or turkey, either one.
Hmm. What about composting in your garden? Are the duck is the duck manure a cold? Like, do you have to let it sit for a while? Can you
You can use it immediately. It's like rabbit.
like
You can
rabbit?
use it immediate. Uh, Chicken is hot, so you have to wait about a year for it to break down.
I've heard so many numbers on that about the chicken. Everybody says a different thing on the chicken.
Right. Horse manure is probably the best manure you could put on a garden. So if
Yeah,
you've got
yeah,
friends that have horses, that would be a good manure to put out there.
yeah.
And we're looking for anything that we could put in the sandy side of our property to build the soil up because it is just all sand. It's horrible.
Wow, allergic to regular chicken eggs. Wow.
Yeah.
I Golly, I don't remember hearing about anybody that's allergic to eggs.
I
Some
actually
people
had
don't like eggs, but I don't know that I've heard any. Well, actually, no. I think Micro Farmer might be allergic to eggs.
I
He's
actually
either
knew
allergic to eggs or don't like eggs. I'm not sure which one it is.
I actually knew someone that was allergic to eggs, and they had to make eggless cakes, and everything had to be without eggs.
Hmm.
Why is this saying join the chat? Okay,
You? Oh, I don't know.
YouTube wasn't connecting.
Seems like you're in the chat. You're in the chat.
Yeah,
Horse manure has to be composted because it has weed seeds. Oh yeah. Broke Cowgirl Homestead. Welcome in.
right. Horses get warmed on a regular basis. Yeah, so that would it depends on where you're getting it. If the horse is being warmed naturally, then yeah, you could use that manure. Um, Cow manure would be another one. We've used cow manure for years.
Mhm.
Uh, Rabbit manure is actually the best to use on a garden because you can use it immediately. It's a slow release nitrogen,
Yeah.
and
I actually considered getting rabbits for the manure, but I was like, I don't know if I want to get into that. I just don't know.
well, we had rabbits, and I tell you what, it was hard in the summertime because I was constantly taking out
Water.
frozen bottles of water because it was so hot for them.
Yeah.
And then in the winter, you had to worry about them freezing.
Yeah. I'm
So,
going to be terrified to leave in the summer because this summer, when I went to visit my sister and was gone, hubby was here all day. I mean, he wasn't here all day. He was at work all day and he had to take care of the chickens either in the morning before work or after he got home. Well, I have this thing I do where I go out and I check the chickens' water and the cats 3 times a day. And in the very heat when it's like 100 and something, sometimes I'll go outside and they hate it. Oh my gosh, they hate it. But I spray them.
yeah, because
And
they get
while I was
overheated.
away this year, one of my chickens died. Her name is Sandy. She was one of my favorites. She was one of the Easter eggers, and she's actually in one of my garden beds out here, which I'm going to try to get a little plate and name that little garden raised bed after her. Call it Sandy Lane or something. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Broke Cowgirl says goat manure is equal to rabbit manure. That's good to know. I didn't know that.
no, I don't have access to anything except for chicken manure. That's it. I've already stopped putting the chicken manure on stuff because it doesn't have enough time.
We're talking about all this manure, but that's farm fresh air when you live in the country. You want to smell that because you know it's doing its job out in the garden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, Christy, your dad bringing home that uncomposted horse manure and your mom getting mad because of the flies.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have to go in the shed.
Yep.
I did notice, though, last year they crawled up in my store-bought soil, but they did not crawl into that cow manure that I bought. So I went around and I sprinkled a little bit of that cow manure on all the beds, and it did help with the ants. The ants do not like that cow manure. Cow manure.
Right.
So if you have an ant problem, sprinkle that cow manure around all your different beds, and that will run them off. Ants do not like the smell of cow manure either.
Yeah, we had ants take over one of our raised beds a couple of years ago. Man, it was horrible trying to get rid of those things.
Yeah, that same bed. Well, what you do is you go around with a stick and you poke all the areas of your beds before it's time to plant. If you see the ants there, come in and pour that boiling water on them for several days to get rid of them before you plant. Because once you plant, you can't pour that boiling water over them.
Right.
They'll go move to somewhere else, hopefully somewhere. It'll kill thousands, and then the rest of them will move somewhere else because they'll be afraid that their family's going to get burned up again. So,
right.
I did a lot. The past 3 years, I've gone through so much ant trauma. They like loofah. They like corn. Mm.
Hey, Mark. I say Corner Clubhouse Cobalt is in the house.
I've tried everything.
Yeah. Well, I tried everything. I sprinkled grits. I sprinkled cornmeal. And those ants, all they were doing was taking it into their nest and eating
I
it.
feel like they were just eating it. I don't think it was. I don't think they were blowing up and dying. I think they were just eating it.
Yeah, I mean, and I would go out there and the hill would be bigger the next day. I'm like, okay, this ain't working. But I didn't know about the boiling hot water. We'll have to do that the next.
Now you have to do that before the season. Like I happened to be messing around in my raised planter. I noticed there was ants in there. I poured the boiling water, and that was in winter. So as the season gets going, I'm going to check all the containers, and if there's ants, I'm going to treat it with boiling water, and I can do that up until the point of planting, and then it'll burn. It'll kill your plant.
Hey, Helena. Welcome in.
Hello, Helena.
Ants are like aphids. Yeah, you get them and you can't get rid of them.
I really hate ants big time. I hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have been sorting my seeds and trying to get some of them organized. I still got to go through the freezer seeds. I've got a ton of seed in the freezer that I haven't even touched.
Say you put yours in there. I did put my lavender in there.
Well, flowering seeds I usually keep in the refrigerator. Except I've got a big old bucket of sunflower seeds that I collected 2 years ago, and it never made it to the freezer. It's still sitting in the bowl. And I'm hoping to get them all planted this year because we may be using them as a backup for chicken feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, dealing with the ants in the garden. And of course, I told you the area that we plant in or tried to plant in was sandy. Well, this was in my good soil, and I was like, this ain't working. So
Yeah, also learn never to plant your sunflowers with vegetables because certain bugs are attracted to the sunflowers and they mess up the vegetables around them. So if you love sunflowers like I do, just plant them by themselves somewhere
well, I
else.
plant mine with the vegetables, never had that problem.
Yeah,
But
maybe it's a Texas thing, but we got some weird worms and bugs on them.
yeah,
I have to segregate them now. Yep, I've tried the cayenne pepper, cinnamon. I've even
yeah.
mixed the cinnamon with the cayenne pepper.
Oh, I tried that too to get rid of the ants, and I
And I'll keep
wasted.
buying it. I buy a lot. I'll buy some of it, and I'll keep doing it. I've done it. When I say I've done it all, I've done it all. Now the only thing I don't do is I don't put poison because I don't. Because if I'm not going to grow something better than the grocery store, then I might as well go down there and.
I agree with you there.
So if I can't figure out how to do it organically in some way, then I'm not even going to bother with it.
Right.
Then it's just going to have. I'm just going to have to.
Well, if you do a lot of companion planting, you shouldn't get the bugs in your garden.
I don't get any bugs except for the darned ants. I can't get rid of the darned ants. And like I said, those one particular worms I got last year, that I think they were the caterpillars. They liked the sunflowers for some
Yeah.
reason.
I had squash bugs one year. Oh my gosh, it tore up everything. Squash related, tore up everything that was squash related. And I was like, well,
I always plant marigolds with my sunflowers, and that seems to to keep the squash bugs away. I
yeah,
didn't have squash bugs or vine borers last year. I planted the sunflower on the end, on both ends, and one in the middle. And they got pretty big. I actually started them up under the grow light so they would already be up. So I put the marigolds down in the three places, then planted the squash.
right.
That works for me here in Texas. That's all I can say. It works for
Yeah.
me.
You got to do what works for your area because,
Everybody's different. Here, ants are a problem and those darn caterpillars. But I think if I just keep those sunflowers away from everything else, I'll be good. That area where the sunflowers were last year that the worms attacked, I'm just going to put the just sunflowers in that section this year. Those real tall mammoth sunflowers, I'm going to put those there. And then I have some orange sunflowers I'm going to put over here by the fence over there by their self. So it should be good.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Forgot my train of thought all of a sudden.
Yeah.
We were getting leaves. One of our friend has lots and lots of trees, and they were raking up their leaves and bagging it up. And so my husband started getting the leaves, and we've been putting the leaves out in the chicken coops. They love it. They absolutely love it. They love digging through them to get the worms and the bugs. And we've been using them in the nest box, and they're able to sit there and pick through that while they're on the nest box. And it was free.
Using leaves.
Yeah, and it was free. So we did that as long as we could. We did have to buy some straw bales for this cold snap that we've had and put that down.
Yeah, that's what we have in ours is straw.
So this spring, when we clean out all these coops and stuff, we ought to have some good soil in there or good compost that we could start composting it down out of those coops and put on that garden area that's all sand. So that's what we're hoping for. The hornworms go to chicken court in my house. Those big green hornworms, tomato worms. They get picked off and they go to chicken court, and they usually are suicided.
Oh yeah, I did that with some of them. I took a little bit of dish soap and a little bit of vinegar in a spray bottle, and I sprayed down the sunflowers where those ants were, and they didn't like them. They didn't go back on them after that.
Right.
And then I don't know. I had something I was grabbing them with, but it wasn't my hands. I had maybe gloves or something on, and I would grab it and put it in the bowl of dish soap.
Right.
And then I would spray the plant down to keep them off of there because I'm not planning to eat the sunflowers. So
Yeah, we don't eat ours either, but I
You
like
can.
it because you can, but it takes a little practice of getting that salt on those sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a black light and go out and look at them at night when they're active. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
We'll learn all kinds of tips from one another.
Hmm.
Yeah, they can tear down a tomato plant overnight. And another thing is don't put those solar lights in your garden area because you're drawing bugs in. I had plants on my front porch and somebody had stuck solar lights in it when I lived down in Memphis. Got up the next day and the plant was gone.
They
They
were
tore that.
attracted to the light.
They were attracted to the
Wow.
light and they ate everything. They ate
Oh
it
my
down to just
goodness.
a little nub.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I have some, but they're not on the garden side. They're on the fence that's in the middle of the two. They're right there. So maybe I could just move the buckets away from them and that should be okay because there
Yeah.
is some buckets on that fence. But I haven't really decided what to put in the buckets this year. I was kind of thinking because the tomatillas, I decided they needed more room than just a bucket. So I'm actually going to make a row of them this year. So I think I'm going to use the buckets just for flowers this year and just kind of spread them out throughout. I
Yeah,
try
you
to
can.
spread the flowers everywhere so that they can draw in the bees and stuff like that. So
I planted celery last year for the first time, celery plants, because the celery seed never did anything. And I had celery out there. I had to go out there and cover it up because of this freeze. So I won't have to plant any celery.
that's
And
cool.
it comes back every year. And a lot of the herbs will come back every year. If you plant it in your garden, it deters a lot of the bugs from other things. So
I have
that's where
one
the
bed
contagion,
now that I've established it to be my perennial bed. And I've
right?
got my ground cherries, dill, and I'm going to plant sage and oregano and lemon. And then I have lemon balm. I have three things that are going to come back up from last year, hopefully. And then I have two things I'm going to plant in there. So that whole entire bed, I'm just going to let it come up on its own, hopefully. Hopefully it'll
Yeah.
come up on its own.
Well, see, I've got mint planted by my house because it keeps the ants from coming in. But when I get my big garden area finally established, I'm going to be planting herbs out there in that garden because companion planting, certain herbs will go with certain plants and they protect one another from different pests. So I'm going to be looking at that.
Do you do tomato and basil?
I do. And Christy, I have an asparagus bed that we planted in a bathtub, and every year or two, I will seed it with just the asparagus seeds. I've actually got two tubs out there that I wanted to do it in, but last year I tried putting pepper plants in it, and they didn't do well. So this year I'm going to do the asparagus seed in the other tub as well, but that's also where I got the celery at.
I tried growing celery 2 years ago when I was doing the shed wars. But they got up, but they didn't get way up. So I don't know. Maybe there wasn't enough nutrients in the soil. I'm
Yeah,
not exactly sure. Maybe the soil wasn't aerated enough, but it wasn't a raised planter. Lori's World, I noticed hers grow really well, and that was her first time. But I didn't quite hit so lucky on the celery myself, but I did do really good on dill last year. My dill got as tall as me. I have pictures of me with my dill last year, but it took me 2 years. First year, not so successful with dill, but my second year, I did well. So
yeah, my deal didn't do good this year. Joe, thank you for coming in.
a lot of room. The first year, I did pots. The second year, I did raised bed ground, and it did better in the raised bed ground. So it should come up by itself, but I did go ahead and buy seed just in case. But hopefully I won't even need to use that seed. I'm going to I'm going to try to wait um, till everything else starts coming up and see if it comes up on its own. If I
Wow.
don't see anything popping out of the ground, I'm going to actually plant it. But I'm going to try to have one bed that's just comes up on its own.
Christy, I would be in awe of that property. one of our friends from church bought a property that has a 100-foot asparagus bed in it. Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Wow. And
I
that's
would
one
be
of
in
those
heaven
things
because
that
I
comes
love
up.
asparagus.
I've heard of properties being completely abandoned where the asparagus was still growing. I've heard they're that tough. I've heard that before.
Yeah. Well, I always pick them as soon as I see them coming up, and then I just throw them in a bag. I don't wash them or anything. I just throw them in a bag because you never get enough for a mess of asparagus at one
That's
time.
the trouble I had with beans.
Yeah.
I had beans growing straight in the ground a few years ago. I never could get enough to make a batch of beans, so I gave up on the bean planting thing. I did plant some over on my tomato side there because it's supposed to be a nitrogen fixer, but I never actually planned on actually having the peas. I just planted them because they're supposed to fix nitrogen, and I thought that might help the tomato bed over there.
Right.
So we'll see. I'll let you know on that one.
Yeah, and I still go down to the Amish community, even if I have a garden, because I love getting fresh vegetables throughout the year.
Mhm.
And I tell you what,
I wish we had an Amish store near us.
it
I
it has
liked it. I've been in other people's states, and it was really cool. I liked it.
it absolutely is wonderful. The people are wonderful. They're very knowledgeable. If you ask questions, they normally will answer your questions.
At least you
Um,
know what you're getting is like
and
good,
it's
healthy,
organic.
organic food.
Yeah,
Not
it's organic and heirloom.
see.
They actually sold some tomato plants last year. That's where I got the celery from too.
Mhm.
The tomatoes came in late because we got them in late because we had all that rain. We had that freeze late last year, and it threw everybody off. Whiteville, Tennessee is not the place. It's Stantonville, Teresa. Stantonville is where we go to the Amish community. Whiteville is a Mennonite store.
Hmm.
But there's all kinds of Amish communities now all through West Tennessee, which I'm really happy
I know
about.
we went in Montana when we went to visit Nisi with Free Hamley Maid. We went in another place too. I was trying to remember what state that was, but I know I've been to two different Amish stores.
Right?
Celiac disease, yeah. Also, eating healthy, non-processed foods also solves celiac disease and many other things.
Yeah. I mean, I have lupus and I have hypothyroidism. I have diabetes. I have ankylosing spondylitis, and I could just name off. Once you start with one autoimmune thing, it seems like it just kind of snowballs. And so
It's a
I'm
good
trying to reverse a lot of this. And of course, the doctors say there's no cure for any of these. But I believe that God has created every fruit and vegetable out there and
heal
every
your body.
growing herb to heal us.
Hmm. Yep. That's why I'm going to continue to eat whatever I can grow. I'm going to eat it. I'm not going to let any diet or eating plan tell me I can't eat what's out there in my garden because I know it's healthy. I did it. I tried my very best to do everything in there organic for it to be better than what the grocery store has. I mean, that's the point of it. I can't wait for my own lettuce and my own tomatoes and all that. I do take a break in the fall and winter and don't do any gardening, but that's just because I'm very adult ADD and I have to change. Like I'm ready to stop with the cooking and start with the gardening.
Right.
I won't do some cooking in the summer, but it's like I get tired and I have to switch gears and do something else. So that's just me. Just
Yeah.
like couponing. I picked up the couponing and threw it down and picked it up and threw it down. And that's just me. So I recently just now started couponing, and I think it might be this coming up Tuesday. I'm going to have a coupon talk with Robin from Katahdin Mountain Mama Homestead. She's going to talk about how she does couponing. I'm going to talk about how I do couponing. We're going to kind of compare notes. We're
we
doing
can't even get we can't even get coupons in this area anymore. And the
really.
stores will not take a lot of the stores here will not take the internet coupons. So I've stopped couponing altogether, but that's
Well,
the
my
way we bought
friends
groceries forever.
said, okay, because when I very first started my channel, I did some couponing on my channel. Then I moved it over and I did a channel called Coupon Gail. I did that for a while. I let it go over a year and it was getting harder to monetize because I hit over that year. So the channel still exists out there. I'm just not working the channel, but I have it as a backup channel in case I ever make YouTube mad, go to YouTube jail, and they take my channel down. I can change the name of that channel and continue on, right? So that's my backup channel. That's the only purpose that channel is still there. That's why I haven't taken it down. It's
Right.
Plan Z, okay? So I only plan on doing my regular channel and my ministry channel. The ministry channel, I only want to monetize it for the homeless ministry. So this is my main channel and what I'm working on. But I decided, my friend told me, she's like, when you were doing couponing on your channel, you were a smaller channel.
Right.
Now that you're a bigger channel, maybe there's new people that might watch some of your couponing videos. So I'm going to start with once a month. Then if the videos do well, I might go to twice a month, and I'm going to increase it according to how the video, how much people actually want to watch it. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and start with how I do couponing. And just to start the process, I actually started about just this week. I started ordering coupons. I've ordered about 25 internet coupons that will come to me in the mail. Once I get about 7 or 10 of those, I'll show you what they are and I'll make a video showing you how to order them for yourself. Also including the links in the description box where you can go and order them yourself if it's anything you want.
Right.
Some of them will be healthy products because I'm on a healthy eating plan. Some of the things I get, I can use for the homeless ministry. And the coupons that I get that I don't actually need, I'm going to get a container somewhere in the house and I'm going to save those up and I'm going to make up envelopes and I'm going to give those away.
That's a good idea. And you know what we used to do too is we would buy, we'd get several coupons for certain items. And every so often when we went through our pantry, we would donate to the food pantry.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we had all kinds of things, shampoos and detergents and all that. I had enough for a year's supply. That's how we were able to take in family members when we lived down in Memphis, because we literally lived on whatever we could save money on.
Yeah, I literally went about 2 years without buying cat food.
Yeah. It can be done, and I think the stores caught on to that because at one time they were tripling the coupons.
Yeah.
Remember the double and the triple?
A lot of my coupons are for free items.
Yeah. And they caught on and they stopped all that. They were like, no, we're not making any money on this, because they were actually giving us cash back at the end of our shopping because we had all that money saved. They were paying us to use our coupons.
So if couponing is something you're interested in, come in on Tuesday. She's going to talk about the kind of coupons she does. I'm going to talk about the kind of couponing I do. Like I said, once I get about 7 or 10 coupons in my hands, because I haven't done it in a year or so, or maybe more. So I can show you what I'm currently getting in and put the links. You'll know I'm currently getting it because I'm going to put the links in for what I'm getting right now. So if something stopped giving coupons from before because I haven't done it in a while, I'll know by what's coming in and you'll see what's actually coming in. And that'll tell you, hey, I can go over to this particular company. And like I said, some of it will be used for my husband's lunch because I'm eating healthy, or for donations for the homeless ministry.
Yeah, and see, I would do the free samples for the longest time. I was getting samples of all kinds of things, and but after a while, you have to make a decision: is this stuff healthy for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
And
are some of the things that I eat on my healthy eating plan. Some of it you can get coupons on.
right.
And I thought I would order some that I could share with other people. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some of the free stuff for hubby's lunch or for the ministry, and also to give away. And so
Yeah.
not throwing myself off. And then occasionally there'll be a free item, that I might just give my hubby, if it's something I'm not supposed to eat or whatever. But anyway, I've got it. I got a plan down there. We'll see how it goes. You
I
never
still
know.
get I still get free cat food and dog treats and stuff like that in the mail. And we haven't done it in a long time, and I'm still getting
Yeah,
things
there
like
was
that.
a company that actually would send me free coupons I think it was every 3 or 4 months. The rest of the companies, when you go onto them online, you have to order them again every month, every month, every month. And then there's some that only want you to order them twice a year, some that only want you to order them every 3 months. So you kind of get down a process of
Yeah.
anyway. So we're gonna put that out as content and see how well received it is. With the way the economy is right now and the prices getting higher and higher, maybe it's something wanted, maybe it's not. I'm going to find out. We'll see.
Yeah. I do a lot of bulk buying myself, Teresa. I buy in bulk and then I use my half-gallon jars to store all the dry goods in, or the 5-gallon buckets to store dry goods in.
Yep. I have half-gallon jars with flowers and different things like that. Like I said, I was trying to get rid of the plastics, and then I went off of it and let the plastic stuff back into my life. And well, as you can see, my hormones are disrupted, and I'm, going downhill, and I need to get a hold of it all. So I'm
Yeah,
trying.
we have to, as we're aging, we're going to have to be more and more vigilant about what we're putting into our bodies, because as we age, our bodies don't absorb the nutrients as well, and so many things happen.
Yep,
Hey,
definitely.
Milk and Honey Heritage Farms, you're never late.
Yeah, so I was talking to them, Heather. It was actually Heather's idea that said, she said, I think maybe the coupon content might be a little better received now that you're a bigger channel. So we're going to give it a try. So that was actually Heather's idea.
Yeah.
So
You
he's
were
going to be
talking,
the first live on that. And then I'll put out a video when I get a bunch of these coupons in the mail, and you guys can see if it's something you're interested in. And I am going to be willing to give them away. So if you see something in the videos that you like, let me know and I could send it to you. I'm going to try to grab some postage stamps so I can be able to mail out the coupons for people that need them.
right. You were talking about the diet that you're on, a healthy diet. The diet that worked for me, but I couldn't stick to it for more than a month at a time, was Fit for Life. And it is a vegetarian type diet, but I lost 50 pounds in a month.
Ooh.
And that's an excessive weight amount to lose in 1 month on a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that one worked. And then there's a heart association diet that was a fad many, many years ago. And you would eat eggs and bacon for breakfast, no breads. And then you could have a salad for lunch, and then you could have anything you wanted to eat for supper, meat, vegetables, like a regular meal. And I lost about the same amount of weight doing that for a month. So there are
Yes.
diets that are out there, but the
Yes.
best kind of diet you can be on is you make the decision, like I'm on a low glycemic, low carb diet.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to cut out the higher carbs as much as possible. Now, we still eat pasta, we still eat rice, we still eat bread, but we don't eat it like we did in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought some pasta made out of chickpeas, and I'm going to be trying that on Monday.
Good
So
luck with it. My husband
we'll
won't
see
eat
how
anything
that
with
goes.
chickpeas in it. He doesn't like the taste of it. I love chickpeas.
I don't know. I'm going to do a review. I really, seriously, as I try these supposed healthy uh, products, I want to try to do reviews on them in case anyone else was trying to stay away from breads or pasta or any of that stuff. You'll have some. But one option out there is your zucchini under your spaghetti. I tried that already. I know for sure that's good.
It is
But
very, very good. I've
to
eaten
your
it that way.
question, Teresa, yes, Friskies sent out these free coupons that were worth 20 to 30 bucks. We would take those coupons to Walmart. Some Walmarts are a little weird about them. United will take them if you have that, and Tractor Supply will take all these coupons. So if you use Purina brand products, go on the internet, fill out their little contact us section with your name and address. Don't give them your phone number. You don't want them having your phone number, but give them your address because they need to send you the coupons and you can get some free coupons. And if you've never ever sent out a coupon, you have a very good chance of getting a free one like right away. So definitely try that out. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about on Tuesday and in my videos.
Yeah. There's all kinds of alternatives out there to flowers. I mean, if we get desperate and the wheat crops fail and there's no flour in the stores, you can take dry beans and make flour.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that too. All kinds of stuff. A lot of stuff in your garden you could use to make flowers with. Right now, I have, because of Plant Paradox, and like I say, been off and on, but it does work, and I have lost weight on it. Okay. I have almond flour, tapioca flour, cassava flour, and coconut flour.
Yeah, I was going to say acorn flour, Teresa. That would be another one. If you live somewhere near an oak tree, you can get acorns. You can make flour out of it.
Yeah. Yep. And I would have all kinds of acorn flour in my yard, let me tell you.
Yep.
Pecans, you could probably make flour out of pecans.
Oh yeah, you can make
You can do
flour
it out
out
of
of
any nut.
any kind of nut. Almond flour is very popular. Um, Christy says she has to start watching what she eats because most of her family has diabetes. And, we have type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes in my family.
Let me
So
get you guys a visual real quick. Ow.
that's okay. So I have to watch everything I eat. And that's why I'm on the low glycemic um, and low carb diet. And I use the UK plate method, which is a visual where one half of your plate is going to be your protein and then the other half is going to be your low carbs.
So this is Swerve sugar sweetener, and it is not like Splenda or the pink stuff or whatever. It's not like that stuff. It's plant-based. It's not going to raise your glycemic levels. If you're diabetic, it is safe to use it. Swerve sugar. They have, this is just regular sugar, but they have like a brown sugar type. They have a powdered sugar type for baking. So this is what I use.
Yeah, and I use monk fruit sweetener.
And I use that too sometimes, but
Monk fruit
Walmart
is
doesn't have it. I have to go to United for that, but I do buy that
yeah,
sometimes.
monk fruit sweetener tastes like sugar, looks like sugar, has 0 calories and 0 carbs. And you can use it to bake with, you can use it in hot liquids, you can use it in cold liquids.
I use it in coffee. I use it for baking healthy desserts,
I
and
add it to my hot chocolate mix. And it comes in the brown sugar and the white sugar.
I may do that next winter. I might try to make a healthy hot chocolate mix. That'd be a cool video right there.
Oh yeah.
Zucchini flour. Yeah, I bet you could do zucchini flour. But this is opening up my eyes as to what you can use for alternatives for pasta. So if zucchini is good, imagine how good spaghetti squash is going to be.
Oh, I love
Acorn squash.
spaghetti squash with. I love spaghetti squash with spaghetti sauce on it. It's good with just
I had
butter.
it at someone else's house, but I've never grown it. I actually ordered some from M.I. Gardener. So this is going to be my first year to grow it. But I have eaten it, but I've never actually grown it.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed my time here, Gail. I'm going to jump down. We've been on here for a little over 2 hours.
I know. I've enjoyed talking to you too. I was going to end it a little while ago, but then we got talking about something else. So,
Well, I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you, everybody, for coming and watching and being a part of this. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you jump on one of these collaborations. It's hashtag Freezer Cleanout 24, hashtag Declutter Challenge 24, and hashtag Cleaning Hacks 24. They're open collaborations, and you're more than welcome to join in. Thank you, Gail, for having me.
thank you for coming on.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate all of you coming in today. Kind of an improv. My normal day is going to be Tuesday at 7 p.m. This week, I'm going to be talking with Robin from Katahdin Mountain Mama Homestead. We're going to be talking about couponing. So if that's something you're interested in, please come on Tuesday at 7 p.m. and check it out. See what we talk about. Bye, guys.